or presents The Venture Brothers and the Curse of the Haunted Problem.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And we've been around.
Neither lost nor found. Because it's only been like a week. Can't get lost in a week or found in a week.
But the important thing is that we've been around. Yeah. And we were there on the famous movie night.
We were.
And welcome to season 7.
Welcome to season 7. So quickly we arrived, it feels like.
Yeah, we are rapidly running out of time. We are sitting in an hourglass that is running out, like we're on the cover of a bad Newsweek. Like a shitty Newsweek Photoshop from 1998. This episode, written by Jackson Public, originally aired August 5th, 2018. That's fucking crazy.
Uh-huh.
The idea that we're now into contemporary Venture Brothers that like came out not too, like what feels like not very long ago.
Yeah.
Is absolutely nuts to me.
Quite strange. Also crazy. 2018, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's speeding up. It's speeding up and getting worse.
It's because you get old. I don't think it's happening at time. I think it happens as you get older.
Yeah.
You know, it speeds up and your brain is not meant to hold it all.
Nope.
Like I like had one of those absolutely wild moments where you remember like a whole period of your life.
Uh-huh.
You hadn't thought about in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that house where this happened and this happened, and I knew this person and I did this and I did it. And it was like this whole folder.
Yeah.
You know, that I was just like, boy, I hadn't thought about those couple years, and I have effectively forgotten those.
Just a lost chapter.
Yep. And lost chapters. I think that we're going to keep getting like more and more packet loss and fragmentation as we get older.
Mm-hmm.
Our brains.
No.
It's amazing. You know? You live so many lives as a person. This is the first episode that was directed by Titmouse's Juno Lee.
Right.
So in the last season, Jackson talked a lot about how hard it was to direct everything. So now it's nice. Now he's getting a break.
Yeah, he's able to hand over the reins and focus on writing, which you can, like both character design and writing kind of seem to be the thing that he most enjoys doing, not handling the logistic stuff. Like
he's good at it, but I was very sympathetic to it. Like I like how he directs things, but him talking about how he never really likes it.
Yeah.
I was very sympathetic. Like the disconnect between being good at something and liking something.
Yeah.
Is very real.
Extremely relatable.
Yeah. I'm very glad that they have people. So this season, directors, we're going to end up having Juno Lee as well as Barry Kelly.
Yes.
Throughout the season, kind of sharing the load.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this first stretch of the season is pretty weird, actually. It's called the Morphic Trilogy. That's how they refer to it. And it was meant to be the conclusion to season 6. Kind of wraps up the Blue Morpho trilogy. And honestly, like ties together a whole bunch of lore stuff in probably what I would consider to be really successful retconning.
Like very successful retconning kind of functions as a climax of the show.
Yeah.
Which they've had multiple ones of those. And it does incredibly weird things to the shape of the season because you end up with these first 3 episodes that are incredibly important and really good. And then there are good episodes for the rest of the season, but we're just kind of...
It's been like they act like it's possible to go back to business as usual, knowing what we know.
Yes, they start doing kind of time killing filler episodes after this, whereas this would make a lot of sense for a huge sea change. And you can kind of see what they're doing is that there's a new status quo with the things that change with this, and then with the changes at the end of the season, with the Monarch and Dr. Venture realizing they're related, and that's seeded in these episodes. And it's been seeded before, of course, but I mean, it's alluded to, right? Like it's back in the 4. You can almost see how the idea was that for season 8, it was going to be another switch up.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to roll up to it. The fact that they couldn't end season 6 with this means that season 7 kind of can just get a couple things in place. Like it can't do a whole lot.
No.
Until the end. They didn't want to immediately go into another long-running mythology arc.
Right.
With kind of how the season ends. So it's very interesting. The season ends up being really forgettable to me in terms of individual episodes. Before I rewatched it for this recording session, if you had just put a gun to my head and said, well, hey, what episode's the Rorqual Affair? I would just die. I would take the bullet out of the gun and then just slowly slide it into me. It's open wide. I don't know, because the titles don't mean anything, and the season doesn't have a real memorable identity outside of these first 3 episodes.
Yeah. And there are good episodes and good story beats. There's cool stuff that happens. I love all the teleporter stuff in the Unicorn Captivity and stuff. It's just such
I like that episode a lot in general. I think that episode's really good.
It's really lopsided this whole season. It makes it weird to talk about.
Yeah. So it's gonna be strange to talk about, and I'm so happy that they're at least being able to do a movie, because if it just ended like this would be a bummer. It's
really weird listening to the commentary and hearing them talk as usual, oh yeah, we're planning this for season 5. Oh, this might come back. They're alluding to it at the point where they were recording the commentaries for this. It was a couple of years before they canceled it.
Yeah. Well, they got blindsided by it.
Yes.
They did not expect it. So it is kind of a tragedy in the end that hopefully has a happy ending, depending on how good that movie is.
Hopefully.
If it gets a Metacritic score of 85 or higher, I will give them their bonus. This first episode deals with a haunting, an apparent haunting at the VenTech Tower.
Yeah.
And to fight the haunting, they bring back in the Order of the Triad, which a lot of people, including us, were clamoring for during season 6.
I can't just have Steven Rattizani just voicing all the Italians.
Yes, I have him do both. He can be both Italian and magic. Yeah, it's awesome. As for sure,
with modern
My
technology,
Little Pony, Italians are magic.
With modern technology, it's possible. Yeah. But it's good. It's good to get Jefferson back. It's good to get Al back. Just kind of in the picture.
Absolutely. Yeah. We mentioned this is a trilogy. Here, this is the first part.
Right.
So.
It's structured very strangely. This episode and the next episode take place concurrently. This one focuses on the Ventures. Next one focuses on the Monarchs side of things, and then the third ties it up with a dream sequence mostly.
Yeah,
which is funny.
And then also just actually deals with the fallout of the thing that happens.
Yes,
at the end, it's like it needed 2.5 episodes. As opposed to 3, but you need to have that overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good on them for knowing that they needed more space. We're off book. So we've talked about the entire time we've done the show that the commentaries border on useless. Every once in a while there's something interesting there, but most of the time it's like Doc Hammer talking about pissing himself in weird places. Yeah. So the book was where a lot of the real insight went, and the book only goes up through season 6.
Yeah.
So it's not a research failure. It's a places to research failure. I spent some time this morning, looking online, message boards and stuff, trying to find similar content to the book to see if the boys had talked about it. And they kind of haven't very much.
No.
The wikis and the fan sources also kind of dry up around then. And I think, I personally blame that on the huge gulf between seasons.
Oh yeah.
When Venture Brothers season 7 happened, I was also every season after season 4, when they come back, it's oh, this is still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Venture Brothers is back.
Yeah. I'll watch all that when it's all out. Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of, I think they lost some momentum there.
Yeah. But in the commentaries, they talk about people's reaction to the trilogy, saying oh, when people saw this, they expected that the entire season was going to be these super connected things, kind of like how season 6 went to its new structure, with the villain of the week combined with the ongoing Blue Morpho kind of story. Oh, this is a new stylistic thing. And then when they went back to an episodic, non-serialized kind of deal, that's when people were oh, okay, so this is weird. Yeah. And it does feel weird. They were right. Yeah.
Again, not necessarily bad, just weird.
Yeah. the only other like big detail that I gleaned from this, so this season focuses more on Hank and Serena to a certain degree. We get a little bit more of that. Apparently the actors for Serena and Rocco, her bodyguard, they loved to improvise with each other just because that's a fun relationship to go, just where Serena's voice actress can just lay into him and stuff. So like they would do what was written and then just improvise a whole bunch more, and they ended up having to like throw in maybe like one or two things from it and then cut the rest. So I think that there's deleted scene stuff that includes more of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that when we do the wrap up.
Yeah.
Before the movie. Excited. Let's get into it.
Let's do.
Let's get into the heavy lore implications. We're back in lore mode. Starting off with this cold open. It's 2 years ago, the Middle East. We get to see JJ again. Always nice to see JJ. At the crashed remains of Gargantua 1. And Swifty and is there, who we both called Shifty and Speedy.
Did we?
I called him Shifty and you corrected me as Speedy.
Oh.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's Speedy. Speedy is the henchman who dies in the beginning.
Speedy
Swifty,
is.
which is kind of like a fast version of somebody who's shifty, I guess. Swifty.
So in a way, we were both right.
Yeah, we're both right and wrong. It's Swifty. So just I think shout out to Fat Mox on the Slack.
Thank you, Fat Mox.
Corrected me. Yeah. Corrected us about that. If it was someone else, I apologize for not crediting you. Somebody pointed out our blunder.
Yes.
So.
Speedy sounds more like a boxer name to me. But if that real estate was already squatted upon,
it was already taken by the weird pimply little henchman who's
rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Speedy.
But Swifty is real uneasy, and Hector he thinks that this is because has something to do with the demon statue that's right there. And this legend of a cursed temple, but JJ, he's not in this show. It's got nothing to do with Johnny Quest. He says, no, we're men of science. We don't have these superstitions. But some creepy stuff is going on down there in the wreckage. He goes down and this crashed space station is carpeted with dead scorpions.
Yeah. Those are load-bearing scorpions. We know how they died.
In the commentary, they talk about how they don't feel like, they said some of this succeeded as horror, but like not all of it, because horror is really hard to do in cartoons. I don't know. I think that it's not necessarily scary, but it's really cool horror stuff. It's not a place that they stay. It's not a place that they play in very often, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to see them do it. Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. And the concept of what this is spooky.
Yes.
And good. What he finds past this carpet of dead scorpions is the problem light. We all remember this from Careers in Science. We see the classic font. He's like, I know exactly where to put this. And we cut over to the Venture building where Hatred, as a tour guide, is giving his tour spiel about the problem to a group of Boy Scouts.
Yeah. And big ups to Hatred for finally getting that monkey off of his back.
Yeah. He seems really well adjusted at the beginning of the season.
He does.
The group walks away. I love it whenever they have to have a group of just kids, like boys in this. They always have like really strong New York accents for some reason. Every single one of them's a fucking newsie.
They just roll up. And we need some Bowery boys. I'm right over here, teach.
We're looking for kids who don't know how to say Mister, but instead say Mister. The group walks away, and I think that he steps on the cockroach, but a cockroach dies.
Yeah.
Here in front of the problem light. And you think that's nothing. Like, this is also kind of good horror. Mm-hmm. Another cockroach walks up to it, and it's like, what's happening here, until like a little tube pops out of the problem unit and sucks up and that's where we get our dun 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 thing. Very good.
Yeah.
I love this little morning cockroach like running up and just like, no.
You had 2 days to retirement.
Yeah. He
had a nice little cottage under the fridge.
Yeah. Poor little Bubba.
So cut to, it's nighttime, midnight. Rusty is sleeping soundly until his alarm goes off and a holographic JJ, wakes him up saying, "Good morning, me."
But it's way early. It says it's 7 a.m.
Yeah.
But it's clearly not.
Mm-hmm. And no matter how many times Rusty tries to turn it off, it keeps turning back on.
Yes. And it keeps playing snippets. The computer keeps playing snippets of Street Life. That's nothing around. Which is a really, like, that turns into a song.
It does.
Eventually, but it takes a while. It's like, oh, this surely can't, like, they probably just took a weird part of the song. No, it begins with her just going around for like in the Moo and Oink voice for a long time until instruments start and it becomes a song.
Yeah. It's real strange how they just how that song goes, because like I know that song's from Montages.
Yeah, I never heard it before. Far be it from me to not respect the work of music supervisor Snuff Garrett. I kid you not, is the music supervisor for Sharky's Machine.
How dare you? He's a legend. He's a legend in music supervision.
I love running into a Tim and Eric name in the wild. Snuff? Yeah, cartoon pig? Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh my God.
I didn't know Street Life, though.
It's just one of those songs that you hear in Montages as somebody feeling sexy at nighttime, you know?
Yeah. When they hang around.
And are neither lost nor found.
Lost nor found. Yeah. Other things are happening as well. Mm-hmm. Haunty things.
Yeah. Dean's TV screen is flashing images of what appears to be an eye, showing images of the desert and the scorpions and stuff like that. Brock wakes up and his room is a cold spot. Like his windows are icing over. I love just Brock being low key terrified throughout this entire thing.
Brock being like, they even say it later, like it's Brock scared.
No, it's Scarabrock spooky.
Yeah, it's Scarabrock spooky. Very good. I love Rusty, so the TV in Rusty's room turns into the Rusty Venture cartoon. He keeps turning it off until his JJ alarm comes on again, except for the simulation. The hologram is huge. The like giant baby that just appears over him, telling him it's time to wake up.
Good morning, me. Yeah. And he falls and trips into the panic room.
Yeah. Brock is trying to adjust the thermostat, but a ghostly arm reaches out of it. He runs, one of my favorite jokes in the thing, he runs to the elevator, he sees Helper. And he's like, oh, Helper, thank God. Did you get spooked too? And Helper opens his mouth to talk, but just a bunch of rats come out of his mouth.
It's just a waterfall of rats.
It's really good.
Like, it's funny, but also it's super creepy.
Yeah, it's good. It's very, you're right in that it's just not a zone that Venture Brothers fucks around with.
Yeah.
Horror tropes.
Speaking of horror tropes, you get the creepy backward writing in the mirror. Dean gets this horrible stomach pain. It's a remnant of the robot water. And he kind of lifts up his pajama shirt to see that the word problem is written backwards in his skin, just kind of like with little indentations. And he throws up in the sink, but is startled when his smart mirror starts playing the desert video to him again.
Yeah. And this is the desert from the cold open.
Yes.
Just in case we didn't connect those dots. Everyone runs to the panic room, including Brock. And Brock wonders where Hank is. He's the only one who's not accounted for. He's over at Serena's premature ejaculating. Apparently he's been premature ejaculating for months. And Serena, patience of a saint.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I almost got your shirt off that time. Like, this girl just not getting anything. No attention from it's not very Hank of Hank.
No.
To not take care of Serena's needs before coming in his pants. And like, it's just the implications that's constantly happening. Like, he has his pants on. He's coming in his pants, nonstop wetting his pants with cum. It's not normal wet.
No. This is a thicker kind of wet. Yeah.
And it makes, as a kid, like you're horny all the time. So you do your real hair trigger, but you can also just go again immediately.
Yeah.
In real life, this wouldn't be a problem.
No.
I felt like there's a weird way where I felt like if this scene specifically had been written by Doc Hammer, it would have felt more well observed.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just felt like this was just like, oh, this isn't really how teenage fumbling goes.
Yep. Oh gosh. But like she's super supportive and he's sharing strategies like, oh, that time I tried thinking of Walking Dead zombies, but then Michonne showed up.
Yeah, just head in the game, Hank.
Yeah.
Rocco pounds on the door. So Hank jumps out the window to leave onto his hover car and gives Serena a kiss. Serena chews out Rocco, saying she's trying to do a yoga. In your Victoria's Secret bra. And he finds her Hank's hat. Yes. That he left on his pizza delivery hat on the bed, cluing him in.
Yeah. So things are going on that shouldn't be, and there's going to be a lockdown put into place. It's the next morning. They're at the breakfast table. Brock is pouring himself coffee, but his hands are shaking because he's just terrified. He's been awake all night, and says, "Hey, we need to call Dr. Orpheus. This is getting worse, and it's happened every night this week." Like,
I think Dean. I mean, not that it matters that much. I think Dean says it, and then Brock just backs him up.
Yeah,
because it gives Doc an opportunity to shut down Dean.
Oh, I think they both do it.
Yeah, we get the excellent eat a bacon, Dean. Yeah,
just eat a bacon. Well, Dean was talking about his stomach being upset, right? It's like, oh, that's residual nanobots, or maybe your body's rejecting this vegetarianism thing.
Yeah, eat a bacon, just one bacon, Dean.
Just do it for your pop. Yeah.
Dean thinks JJ's ghost is haunting them because JJ appeared to Rusty, and he's just like, no, that's my talking alarm clock. Like, by your logic, Clippy the paperclip haunts me every time I try to write a letter, which is great. That's what happens.
Good. Do we need to explain Clippy the paperclip to people?
I don't think so. Clippy's a real meme now.
Oh yeah, true.
Like he is old timey, but like Clippy never really went away in many ways.
Okay, so I'll trust your judgment.
Yeah.
Oh man. But Rusty remains ever the skeptic about this. He's got a scientific explanation. Basically, this entire house is wired up for IoT. Every single part of it, holographic projectors, all the lighting, all of the thermostat. It's all internet connected. So it's got to be something with our IT. We got to go talk to our IT guy. And he blames Pete for upgrading everything and breaking it. But of course, it's his fault. He needed to install a Flash plugin to watch a cat video.
Yeah, which was hilarious.
Of course.
Pete checks out the code that's happening here down in the basement with Billy. And he's baffled because it's like the computer's speaking in tongues. He says it's this patois of different languages. So there's basic and C and all this stuff. Pretty neat.
It's like basic Fortran and COBOL, specifically like really old languages.
Yes. Yeah. The screen flickers and then Street Life plays. I get around. And he immediately, as a college DJ, knows that this is on the Sharky's Machine soundtrack. And that he's like, but that isn't on your musical library list.
That's played and the call was coming from inside the house.
It's very good. And then he's like, I'll take care of this. You have to use the patented Pink Pilgrim Cyber Snooper USB dongle. And it's branded. It's a little Pink Pilgrim USB dongle.
It's got a little buckle on it.
Yeah,
I love that it has a buckle.
Made. Oh, cutie.
And he plugs it in, and a lot of fun is made of how hacking is always made to seem more dramatic in movies. But you get the music saying like, okay, here it is, and then it's just a big loading screen. Like, yeah, actually, it takes a while. Do you want to go get a drink? Yeah,
very good. So Hank comes in for work. And finds his boss waiting for him. His boss has a black eye, and he's holding Hank's delivery cap. And he starts, laying into Hank. Hank thinks it's about the hat, freaking the hat, but it's not. You know, I can work no more. My name will be on the door, but Vicenzio is not the boss.
Yeah.
And the camera pans over to Sea Lice guys menacingly breaking breadsticks. Those shitty Italian breadsticks that are just like long cracker. It's very good.
I thought it was a biscotti or something like that. Nothing. Your breadstick shouldn't snap. I'm sorry.
That is 100% a type of breadstick.
Is it now? I've never had it.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
Like it's a big Italian restaurant thing. They're like these tubes of real floury kind of cracker, like real crispy bread. And they're long and they blow. It's like a bad drumstick.
Yeah.
That you can't use to drum, and instead that you can't really dip them in anything because they're not soft enough to absorb.
They don't absorb anything. Yeah. No,
They're really bland. Like they're worse breadsticks.
not a lot of really good Italian restaurants out here in Ohio. So I've never been to one that would have this. Yeah.
The Mansfield Italian restaurant scene isn't authenticcio.
It's not authenticcio. Like there's lots of good like American Italian. Like there's a great place near where I grew up called Papa's Gondola. That has really good like American Italian. Yeah, but it's an institution. It's been there forever. But they make like subs and lasagna and stuff. It's not like Italian kind of things. So
yeah. It's not like you go in and get the checkered tablecloth and the breadsticks and the oil.
They've got a salad bar. Like
yeah, exactly. It's salad bar Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not you get a kiss when you come in Italian.
Yeah, it is the breadsticks, unless they are perfectly fresh, they are kind of floppy, really greasy, and incredibly salty because of the garlic kind of soaking into one side of it, and they're delicious.
Oh yeah, it's the Olive Garden method.
Yep.
Of breadsticks.
The Fazoli's method.
Salt.
So much salt.
Yeah. Those things are fucking legit. Like I could eat those, all the time, and it's because of salt.
Yes, because salt
there's
tastes
that Simpsons
good.
joke where she's like, the secret ingredient is salt.
Mm-hmm.
No joke.
Yeah.
Like that is the secret ingredient. It makes food awesome.
Yeah, it turns out salt and cooked onion are the things that make food taste good.
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't have cooked onion, you can throw some like MSG or something on there sometimes. More or less gives you the same effect. He goes to leave. He's all sad. Vincenzo comes out. This is from The Godfather.
Yeah.
Gives him this heart-shaped pizza, which he attempts to reject and then takes it because it's sweet. And he goes back to his hover car, which has been racked up.
Yeah.
And Stay Away from Serena is painted on the windshield.
Yeah. So he's
getting a message.
Being boxed out by the family.
Yep.
So he goes back home and he's all upset, and Hatred, notices this right away and asks, "Hey, what's going on?" This is when Hank admits, like, "Oh yeah, I've been dating Whitebell's daughter." And Hatred is real impressed, like, "Oh, you got some Romeo and Juliet kind of things happening." They've been wanting to have, they wanted to fit this speech in sometime in season 6. Rather, but they could never fit it in. They've been intending to do this for a while. This little bit of backstory for Hatred and Princess Tiny Feet. So Princess Tiny Feet, he proposed to her, but her dad was a hero. I forget
Chief
his
Justice.
name. Chief Justice. So I marched right up to his titanium teepee.
And asked him, and did he say yes? No, he shot me. And I shot him right back. This answers a question that we had on the podcast, and because I'd only seen season 7 once, I had forgotten. But remember when we were like, "What is Princess Tiny Feet?"
Yeah,
like, is she a princess? Is she a hero? She's a villain? She's just in the life.
Yeah,
she wasn't active as a crime fighter. She was just the daughter of a crime fighter, so she ended up being this, bizarre character.
Yeah, just
without actually having to be active in it.
Yeah, and just was born into it and never was able to get out. It's like Scientology.
Yeah. Orpheus shows up before the triad shows up. He comes up into the roof near where the pool is and floats in. And there's a little bit of business here. They ask where the rest of the triad are, and he talks about them getting stuck in traffic because something about moving the show to New York makes the boys think transit and traffic is the funniest thing in the world.
I am stuck in your Franklin Delano Roosevelt in bumper upon bumper traffic.
Yeah, very. And Doc's being a huge asshole.
Oh yeah,
to Orpheus. The triad has been staying in this like motel.
That shithole out on I-25.
It's sad.
Man.
The rest of the triad show up as well. Yeah. They had to pull his physical form out of the back. Al comes out and says Stevie Wonder lyrics from In the City. It's very cute.
Yes. Just how exciting is it to finally get back to civilization for Al, Yeah.
Good for him. He's kind of like a more rural shore leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up on the roof, Hank is spying on Wide Whale. He's like watching down the sniper scope, and he's got the directional microphone. He's hearing Serena yelling at her dad. Her window has been welded shut. They kind of have pieced together what's going on. They saw the hover car.
Yeah. She's freaking out because she thinks it's just about Hank. And he's like, he's not part of the family. She's like, "Oh, do you want me to date my cousin, have a bunch of flippa babies?" and he eventually says it's not because of Hank, it's because of the blue morpho. Like, this is for your safety.
Yeah.
Here.
So
I love Hank setting up, Hank there and Brock setting up to camp out on the deck outside the house. And Brock's like, what are you doing? Yeah, because he's got a sniper rifle. Yeah. And Hank takes the entire sniper rifle, puts it behind his back. Says, nothing. What are you doing? Nothing.
setting up a tent and a sleeping
too scared
bag.
for bedroom.
Yeah, don't want to be indoors. Dean's inside. He's talking to Orpheus' spirit form because his body's still downstairs. You know, so like explaining like, hey, this is pretty bad. You know, Brock won't even sleep in his room. That's how serious it is. It's Scarab Brock spooky.
Scarab Brock spooky is legendarily good.
I love it when classic Dean comes out.
I miss Dean. This season gets so little Dean. He's going to disappear after episode 3, basically, except for one like awesome scene with him and his teacher.
Yeah,
when he meets Serena. Like, I want way more Dean.
Same.
I miss Dean. You know, Rusty is like, oh, great, you called in Orpheus. And Dean, you know, this is a nice moment for Dean just kind of doing something behind his dad's back. You know, I had to. You just kept mansplaining this away. I like the idea of Dean just learning that word and misusing it.
Yep.
You know,
and then Rusty kind of doing it again by saying, I wasn't mansplaining, I was science-splaining.
What? Rusty's right. It's not mansplaining means a sexist construct.
True. Yeah.
For a thing. Like, you don't, two men don't mansplain to each other. They just, you know, they do another explain. I've had such a hard time finding the right word for that.
It's hard, isn't it? Condescending.
It's just condescending is what's that's why it's bothersome.
Yeah.
I just use splaining as a suffix.
Yeah.
So like somebody will like nerd-splain to me.
Yes.
You know, and it's like it's not as important as mansplaining because there's no element of sexism. It's you know, it's not bigotry, it's just kind of being a douche.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Splaining is a useful suffix regardless.
Yeah. You know, it not quite problematic. But still bad.
Yeah, still not something you want to do. But this is where Orpheus apologizes. You know, it took him forever to get over here. They've been staying at the Rancho Feo Motor Hotel. Man, not a motor hotel. Don't do that.
Rancho Feo. Rancho. This is also where Jefferson reveals that the name of his car is the Blood Vessel.
I love the Blood Vessel.
I love the Blood Vessel. And being in New York is making his blood eye go fucking nuts. This really made me want Jefferson, like a Jefferson episode, because we haven't really gotten Blackulas.
No,
as a thing. We just had a couple scenes where he's hunting Blackulas, but like, I bet you'd do a real fun episode with a Blackula nest in New York with Jefferson.
Yeah, do a full on
maybe
Blade.
They're hesitant to write that for race reasons, but like, I don't know. I think they could pull it off and it'd be fun.
Do a full on Blade kind of deal. Yeah, but Blackula hunting is always something that he has pulled away from, as if it is not important work. But like, man. Vampires.
It's another show. we're not watching.
So back down in the lab, Pete is typing, and Billy remarks again, "Hey, this is not as exciting as things make it look, as the movies make it look." And the screen glitches out, and the USB Cyba snooper shoots out of the USB slot, kind of ricocheting around, hitting a pipe, cracking it, and filling the room with smoke.
Before this happens, when Pete is apologizing and saying how it's not very exciting, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just get Zero Burn," and they're the names from hackers.
Zero Cool and Acid Burn.
Yeah, Zero Cool and Acid Burn to help me. And I love Billy and Pete both just, you know, being fans of the game. Where he's like, "Can you at least look at me and say we're in?"
He does like the movie frame with his two hands.
Like, very cute. This is too creepy for Billy, though. Billy's like, "I'm going home. I'm a brain scientist."
Yeah.
Pete picks up the dongle and moves to kind of stick it back in when Helper sneaks up behind him and brains him with a wrench.
Yeah.
Hank has a plan. Hank goes to Wide Whale's front door, tells Rocco that he's here to meet with Wide Whale and bargain for Serena's hand. He's brought a pizza as a peace offering, and Rocco's like, "You don't get this. Like, you know, we're going to kill you. We're gangsters." Threatens him up against the wall, and he puts his electro lance next to his genitals. He's like, "I'm just going to take care of what you got down there." Boom, nothing but taint. Love boom, nothing but taint.
Boom. So Hank, seems to take the message. He placates him, saying, "Oh, you won't see Hank venture again." He puts an emphasis on Hank venture because what Rocco doesn't realize is that Hank is the man of 1,000 faces.
He loves to play. Yeah. The Order of the Triad starts their ritual in the lobby. They painted a big summoning circle. I love this, where he's like, "You got it all over the nice marble. There's already a circle here."
Yeah, but it wasn't magic.
Yeah, it wasn't magic. They start doing this old incantation. I'm sure this is actually old. That's what they do a lot in the Venture Brothers. I'm sure this is actually old magic words.
Yeah.
Rusty says, "Oh, great. Does this make us all Green Lanterns?" Referencing the fact that Green Lantern has to say a dumb little poem in front of his magic lamp.
Is that true?
Before he can, dude.
Before he can suit up, he has to say a poem. Like,
yes,
nor rain, nor snow, nor dark of night. Like,
yes, Green Lantern. That is how Green Lantern. It's either how he recharges his ring. Like, check this out. Like, the Green Lantern, he's one of those magic ring superheroes, and he's got a lantern. And it either he has to say that poem in order just to use the powers or to recharge it because he's got a magic ring that has like a USB battery, basically.
I thought the magic ring was just that was just his power. Like, he gets it, like he's a space cop, right?
That's who everyone who gets a ring is a space cop.
Okay.
And that's who the Green Lanterns are, but he also goes to Earth and fucks around, does Earth stuff.
Okay.
Whenever he has to charge up his thing, he does that little poem. That's charging that little lantern. The lantern is a battery for his superpower. And it's real dumb.
So it's four required components. It is him with license to use the ring, because I imagine if somebody else wears the ring, they can't use it, right?
I think other people can use the ring. He just found the ring.
Okay.
Is how he got the power. So the first one. 3
required components: ring, lantern, poem. You need all those together, and then he can do his superhero things.
And the poem is like the dorkiest thing in the world. And because comic book fans are who they are, and I'm one of them, like I would do this if this were my bullshit.
Right.
Even in modern comics, they'll very seriously have like people recite the poem and have it played for drama.
Ugh.
But it's like it's, in darkest light, in darkest night, lit all evil who escape our fright. Like it's real silly. It sounds like something the Order of the Triad would make up.
If I was the Green Lantern, just as a series, you know what I would have? Bunch of other color of lanterns that like one's evil, and then like they've all got different kind of powers, and there's like a gimmicky
They
one.
did that.
Really? What?
Yeah, that's real. There's yellow lanterns and blue lanterns, and yeah, dude. Like your red lanterns are about anger, yellow lanterns are about fear, or black. Maybe it's black ones. Or black ones might be about evil. Blue lanterns are about like.
I thought black ones were about neon colors and being groovy.
That would be you put on the black lantern and chief this
chief
bong.
This doob.
Yeah, chief a doob. No, there are different colored lanterns. I just know this. I don't know how I know it. It's just osmosis, from being comics adjacent.
Okay.
I think I've only read one Green Lantern comic in my life and didn't particularly care for it.
I have no idea if it's good content, me not knowing anything about comics and asking this stuff, but like it is fascinating to learn that all these stupid things are real. And
I think it's fun. I don't know if it's real. Man, my favorite part we recorded Guppy last Sunday. We recorded 2 episodes. My favorite part was Will quizzing me if I could name the Star Wars movies in order, which I cannot.
Okay.
And it was just very funny to I don't know what happens in that. Like, I can't remember the name of that. It made me laugh.
That's funny. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for getting me up to speed on the Green Lantern, the most relevant of all of the DC. Is that DC?
Yeah, he's a DC guy.
Okay, there we go.
He's the only one of their heroes that's named after an appliance. So he's got that going for him.
Oh man. But after this incantation, nobody turns into a Green Lantern, but the room starts freaking out. Like the haunting starts manifesting in a big way. You got lots of ghostly spirits, like apparitions. And this finally convinces Rusty, like he'd never seen any of the holograms, the actual like ghosts and stuff. This is new.
They go over to the brownstone where Billy has gone back home. Colonel Gentleman is trying to calm down his dog who's barking at Kano, and I love this. Like, Action Man's like, racist. racist dog. Got the glaucoma. You should just put it down and put you down. Like
Misha's
like
an angel.
immediate response. Misha steals a rib. Billy gets home, says he hopes they're all decent this time, which is shuddery. And there's a wee bit of dim sum for him, and he can wrestle Misha for the last rib. And he says, work was hell, all of this stuff. He's like, the computer there just keeps playing that song, that song from Sharky's Machine. And one of my favorite things about this is, like, obviously Sharky's Machine is very important to all these characters because of movie night. But I also like the idea of this world where he's just like, that song from Sharky's Machine, and everyone's like, oh shit, of course I do. Yeah, Sharky's Machine. It's like Top Gun to me. Like, I've seen it. Yeah, I know movies.
Yeah, nary a day goes by when I think of common cultural touchstone, Sharky's Machine.
Sharky's Machine.
Yeah,
I love Sharky's Machine.
Yeah, but they all get like serious looks on their face, and Colonel Gentleman, he kind of picks up his cane like he's getting ready to stand up and ask some questions, and darts Rose in the neck, which puts which angers Billy, because his mom just got darted. But Colonel Gentleman is all business. Rodney, fetch us an Uber. Now tell me, how long has Rusty had the problem?
Yeah, really, really good. Cool. Mysterious. Back in the lobby, all of the ghosts are here. This is great because I love how just like the Venture legacy is so horrible that like saying who's haunting you, and it's like everybody. There's all kinds of ghosts. We get multiple different ghosts with these tribesmen who want their mask back. There's they say that it's they can take it. It's right there. That is not the original. However, though, Dean made an art class.
I love Rusty firing. Who told you could take art?
Yeah. Making him take, certain classes here. Scamp 1 appears. And Hadrian does this tour guide about Scamp 1 being launched in a Venture rocket and being the first dog to die on the moon. Which is not actually far at all from real life.
Oh no, Laika. Oh
yeah, Laika. Like that's any of the animals in space are probably the first animal to die in space.
Oh yeah. Yeah. the first mating pair of goldfish died in space.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty rough. I like this too, man. This is so dense with jokes. Then we got we get all these women flying by, and they're on fire and screaming. They're screaming, "You locked all the doors!" They're the victims of the Great Venture Millinery Fire. Which is
Triangle Shirtwaist Fire.
Yeah, it's a takeoff on the Triangle Shirtwaist. Yeah, like you said. But hatred. He says, he goes into his. The deadly bays began in the attic when a dumpster full of felt straps was struck by a zeppelin.
So much.
That's so good.
Stuff.
That is so well composed as a joke.
Yeah, it's really good. And Orpheus is just being like, I love the idea of like, oh, this isn't the actual thing that's haunting us now.
No,
these. So he's trying to get rid of them all. He's like, go to the light or don't. I don't care. Just like, you're not the people I'm exercising now.
Yeah.
He does a big Hulk clap and makes all the spirits disappear, getting rid of those and leaving us with the true haunting of the problem light.
Yeah.
Lights up, and I hang around, bringing us back to our motif here.
Yeah. I love how both Rusty and Orpheus are right. Like it is like a biotechnical haunting that is going on. It's real good.
Ghost glitch.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
But back over in Wide Whale's office, he's sitting there and he hears some rustling outside of his door. All of his bodyguards are knocked out. Hank, when he is playing as Enrico Matassa, remember from the Dunwich Insane Asylum episode, he's a fucking badass, is what he is.
I'm very like he is. So yes. However, everyone knows what he's doing, and Wide Whale very specifically doesn't shoot him because he knows who he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's a badass. He didn't win this, though. Like, if this were a serious threat, Wide Whale would just immediately execute him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just letting the kid play.
Yeah, but
like he's kind of a badass. It's just also a miracle he doesn't get summarily executed.
Oh, true. But when I say that Enrico is a badass, he still managed to take out these full-grown men bodyguards.
Yeah. Yeah, he did the old poison pizza and succeeded at the old poison pizza.
Oh, I didn't read that as poison pizza. I read that as him knocking him out. Okay.
Oh, no. Yeah, he gave him the pizza, and then they show them eating the pizza.
Okay.
And then they all pass out. And then later they have, in the next episode, I think, they have where it's like, oh, the guys got pizza. They're probably not going to save any for us, the guys who are still awake.
Oh, okay.
So he drugged them.
That's one of those things of like taking notes as I get real focused in on like sequentially trying to capture everything. I don't necessarily catch those things that are distributed like that. Okay.
Yeah. No worries. It's he drugged the pizza.
Yes.
And he does the, wide away, like, I am Enrico Matassa, kneels, saying, this is to show you how effective I am. This is my audition.
Yes. He wants to work,
playing the trope.
Yeah. He wants to be a part of the family.
Yes.
Cut back over to the lobby. Orpheus, leads everybody up to the problem. The big box with the red light, and Helper rolls out in combat mode. God, every time
Helper just like opens up and has tons of like miscellaneous guns and blowtorches.
It just blades going
it's
around.
Really good.
I love him as like a very just unfocused Inspector Gadget.
It really makes me want a Venture Brothers style side-scrolling beat 'em up like the Scott Pilgrim game. Where you can play as Brock, but you can also play as like Enrico Matassa, and he's more agile and ties people up, and you can play as Helper.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like that'd be really great. Big roster. Give me Venture Brothers Smash Brothers. Shorely versus Helper. Let's do it. Let's
finally settle this grudge match. But Orpheus is like, oh, he's the devil's concubine. He's possessed, right? But Rusty shuts him down with his watch, like, oh, he's just a machine. We can deal with
it's a glitch.
This.
Yeah. Jefferson, they say like, hey, bring you the pry bar of Saint Gisland or whatever, but he left it in the blood vessel. So he starts prying open the problem tank with a sword, and old Team Venture runs in, trying to stop them, like, stop that. But the front panel comes off, revealing what's inside, which is the head of Jonas Venture, kept alive by this machine. This is similar to the android from Alien.
Yes. The weird little, like, what is it? Butt beads kind of hanging down from the middle, from the spine. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's extremely creepy. Like his face just kind of, just slack, sitting in there. And this is for real. This isn't a fake out like with the Sovereign. No, this is actually Jonas's head. Yep.
We cut back over to Wide Whale, who has Enrico, and he's like, if you want to join the family, that's serious. There's no going back. So you have to prove your loyalty. You have to do this one thing. And they goes into the pool room. He asks if he's going to baptize him, but no. The Monarch is saying at the end of it, beaten up and tied to a chair. Wide Whale hands him a gun and says, kill this asshole. That would have been a great cliffhanger for this as well.
Oh yeah.
I love the way these two episodes are presented. The sequencing is perfect. Like they are a Rashomon thing, like two, happening concurrently.
Yeah.
But not seeing the other plot and just having this be a reveal really works.
Yes.
For me. I think this is a great moment.
And then, it dangles this and then it answers the question, right? Like, okay, we get a whole episode showing how we get there. It just, the way that this is plotted is extremely good.
They did great work.
Yeah.
So back in the Venture Tower, Billy confirms like Jonas is still alive. His nervous system has wired itself to the building system, and it even has a makeshift digestive system that's been sucking out nutrients from vermin.
Yes.
Thus, that cockroach from earlier.
Yeah. And a whole bunch of rats at the bottom. Like, I love Al saying, oh, great source of protein, zero net carbs.
Zero net carbs.
Just rat juice,
Rusty is upset, and we get emotional Rusty.
Yeah.
Voice. Because this is his dad. Like even though he's got this hard shell, this obviously matters.
Yeah.
He's like, why did you hide this from me? That my dad was still alive. And it like within the problem. And Colonel Gentleman's like, it's not a problem, it's the problem.
Yeah.
Progressive biological life extension module. We get this exposition.
Yeah.
Jonas Venture Sr. said if anything ever had happened to him, they'd stick his body in the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we never expected it to go off.
Nope.
You know, we did that. Nothing really happened. So we're just like, okay, you know, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
You know, so we never brought it up because the light never came on. And Dean's about to say, actually, and Rusty just covers his mouth. Like, nope, not important.
That's very good in terms of retcon. So like in Careers in Science, you know, when we thought it was the melted toy soldiers that did all this, and then they clean them off, and then the stinger for that, the button, is they leave and the light goes back on, if you recall. And that ends up not being a thing because later in Guess Who's Coming to State Dinner, you know, it crashes. Or crashes after that, and Bud Manstrong, you know, gets out, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was never, they told us way back in season 1, it wasn't the plastic, you know, because they fix it.
Yeah.
Or does light come back on because of urine?
The light comes back on because of urine. They pull the melted cowboy, and then it's his piss soaked piss full spacesuit kind of tips over, and a bunch of urine falls on the panel, making the light come back on. Yeah,
it didn't. Yeah, but now we know that didn't make the light come on. It wasn't the urine.
It was unrelated. It's got nothing to do with piss.
Yeah. It's got nothing to do with piss. Wouldn't you agree?
Were you teeing that up?
No, okay. It's very applicable though. Like, got to start the Twitter account, the Venture Brothers Cross. I think you should leave. This guy, you know, just show the problem. Like, that's got nothing to do with piss.
that would make 40 people very happy
if they even saw it. Yeah, like 40 people worldwide. Yep.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, you know, just to explain, it never came back on. Yeah, even though it did. This is interrupted when Jonas's voice booms over the PA. You know, Rusty. And so we're in season 7. The swearing is unbleeped, at least on Hulu. I don't like that. Yeah. Obviously,
bleeps are funny.
Bleeps are funnier to me. I don't think that Arrested Development would be funnier if we heard him say, "I've got the worst fucking attorneys." I like it as "I've got the worst bleeping attorneys." There's just something about that delivery. Call me old fashioned. I love swearing, but
all of that stuff is funnier. Like censored bars are funnier as well.
Yes.
Like somebody running out with their ding dong. You know, like it's funnier to see a big sensor bar and imagine what's there.
The big dangling sensor bar in Borat.
Yeah, the big, exactly. Or the gigantic fuzzed out dick in The Simpsons when Flanders is showering. You know,
down past his knee.
That.
Yeah.
It's just and you can do a flopper as comedy.
Yeah.
Like the Kids in the Hall reboot uses male nudity very well. If you've ever wanted to see Kevin McDonald's penis, you get to. And, you know, hell yes, right? Like,
yeah, why not?
You know, I probably just sold a bunch of Amazon Prime subscriptions even just saying that just now. But it's good. You can use it for comedy. It's not inherently funnier than the black bar, though.
Yes.
Just like you can use a swear for comedy, but it's not inherently funnier than the bleep. In this case, the bleep would be better.
Yeah. But we're going to be hearing that throughout the rest of this. But, you know, Rusty's like, fuck, you know, and we get like this long look, you know, he's looking at his dad's, you know, half alive, half dead head in this machine, you know, kind of emotionally. And we think this is going to be a big moment, but then who comes to interrupt things? But Pete, looking like he's been through hell.
Yes. Very upset. They try to stop him a little bit, but he's, hell-bent. He runs up with an axe and severs. He's like, we are being haunted, and here's the source of the hack, or being hacked. Here's the source of the hack, and severs the spine.
Yeah.
With an axe here, and it starts freaking out. Energy blows everyone away. The Uber driver who had busted through into the lobby through the glass doors takes off. And the building starts to shake and vibrate here. And Orpheus, using his psychic powers, determines he's trying to run away. And then that's our lack of a button. We just get a to be continued.
Yes. Only time that's happened, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's actually okay in this case.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so, and that's the end of the episode.
That it is. It's a good ass episode.
Yeah. It's not I think the next episode is jokier. You know, like it is a little bit better in terms of jokes, but this episode is very like, it's the stuff that I think Jackson's really good at, which is like very efficiently putting stuff into place.
Yes.
And doing situations, I think, that are sometimes not always the funniest, but are like fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the horror stuff in this is just very fun.
Yes.
It's not, you know, a joke, but it's real fun to spend time with.
Yeah. It's nice. It's creative. It's a change of pace. And it's cool to see their ideas. Again, I like this biomechanical haunting, kind of angle, you know, where both Rusty and Orpheus are right. And also something that is kind of true of the series in general that has really stuck out over the course of the show. Rusty, like, the ventures are not actually in focus that much in the show, you know, sometimes. You know, it really came through in season 6 with the way it was structured, you know, cutting back and forth all the time. Having just an episode that is focused on Rusty, you know, even with the order of the triad here is nice. It's cool to get to spend time with these characters uninterrupted by pulling away to other stuff. Not that the other stuff is bad. It's just, you know, they tend to be backgrounded a lot.
Well, it's something, you know, even if it's not bad, like, for me, at least, I still have a preference.
Yes.
Like, I like the Venture family and one of their adjacent groups.
Yes.
Like, I like the Ventures playing off Pete and Billy, or the Ventures playing off the Triad, or the Ventures even playing off the Monarch, but I want the Ventures there because those are my favorite characters on the show.
Yes.
You know, and I'm interested in guild politics. I'm interested in all of that stuff, but I always like it through a Venture frame.
Yes.
So it's really nice. And you get old team Venture in there. Like this episode, you get the Venture family playing off of all of their, you know,
all their satellites,
supporting cast.
Yeah.
Like old team Venture, Pete and Billy, Order of the Triad, all their people who show up get a highlight here. It ends up making it a really good episode.
Agreed.
Yeah. Very encouraging. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you. We will be back in a week for the Rorqual Affair. If you have thoughts about season 7, we'll put out that call, and that'll be your time to do final series, kind of wrap up stuff, because, you know, the movie's coming, but you know, we don't know when. And if you like this show and you want to support us, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yeah. You get bonus content, not of this show, but like whole other bonus shows. So if you like horror stuff, you know, if you like rats flowing out of a robot's mouth and whatnot, we've got a whole show at $5 called Unfilmable. It's a monthly show about horror movies. We do a show about, we've got a whole show about Elden Ring right now, Bonfireside Chat. You can listen to that. And most of all, you help out your boys. You know, we do this, this is our job, and we appreciate everybody who has given.
I think that's basically about it. I was going to say something, but I realized it's better for off the air.
I think so.
So we'll talk about it. A little secret. Everybody just get excited about that. Until next time,
go Team Venture.